Paradigm shift.
An educational comedy.
It's not a cause, not a movement.
It's not a social group you can slap a label onto.
It's an idea. It's an intention.
It's an intuition.
A mindset in which reality can be explored.
It's a genuine expression,
Discernment.
critical thinking, and imagination.
To look inward upon ourselves.
To better understand the external world around us.
And yes,
Few egos are bound to be bruised.
With our silly, zany, politically incorrect,
George Carlin and Bill style of going about things.
real and raw honesty.
Which invites you to be
to the fullest.
Hey, Lenny, yo, bike, don't fucking go to bike. Hey, buku, no. Kamu jauh. Tunggu dulu. Kau boleh lari ni. Kau bisa lari. Kau dulu. Kau bisa lari. Tunggu dulu. Ah! Oh boy, mato boy.
We have an obligation to every last victim of this illegal aggression because all of this carnage has been done in our name. Since World War II, 90% of the casualties of war are unarmed civilians, a third of them children. Our victims have done nothing to us. From Palestine to Afghanistan to Iraq to Somalia to wherever our next target may be, their murders are not collateral damage. They are the nature of modern warfare. They don't hate us because of our freedoms. They hate us because every day we are funding and committing crimes against humanity. The so-called war on terror is a cover for our military aggression to gain control of the resources of Western Asia. This is sending the poor of this country to kill the poor of those Muslim countries. This is trading blood for oil. This is genocide, and to most of the world, we are the terrorists. In these times, remaining silent on our responsibility to the world and its future is criminal. And in light of our complicity in the supreme crimes against humanity in Iraq and Afghanistan, and ongoing violations of the UN Charter and international law, how dare any American criticize the actions of legitimate resistance to illegal occupation? Our so-called enemies in Afghanistan, Iraq, Palestine, our other colonies around the world, and our inner cities here at home are struggling against the oppressive hand of empire, demanding respect for their humanity. They are labeled insurgents or terrorists for resisting rape and pillage by the white establishment.
Paradigm Shift, an educational comedy, briefly interrupts this message to provide a special public service announcement for any idiots that may be watching that have no clue how to think critically.
Hi, this is Dave Kelso of Paradigm Shift, an educational comedy, and I just needed to stop it right here because of two words that were used. White establishment. Okay, first of all, even though the majority of the establishment, quote-unquote, is white, the majority of whites are not the establishment. Within that establishment, there are half-black, half-white people, such as Croco Bummer. You've got Eric Fast and Furious Holder. You've got all sorts of people within these globalist, elitist factions that are white, black, Hispanic, Chinese, the list goes on. So, anyone who thinks that it's the white establishment, as if it's whites against everybody else, you're an idiot. And anybody who disregards the legitimacy of this video that this message is interrupting just because some idiot got all butthurt because, oh my god, she said white establishment and that's racist, so that must mean that this whole entire message is a crock of shit. well, you're an idiot too, because you're falling for the same divide and conquer tactics that Hitler used to dominate Nazi-occupied frickin' Germany. So whether you get racist about it, or you ignore the whole message because, oh my god, my butt is hurt now, so that must mean the entire message is poo. You're an idiot either way, and if you're that kind of idiot, I don't need you on my channel. Bye-bye! But if you know how to think critically, well, for those critical thinkers out there, we now continue to bring you this video. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. And hey, all you butthurt, non-critically thinking idiots out there, you have an even better day because you guys need it more.
Get unstuck, unclog your mind.
But they are our brothers and sisters in the struggle for justice. The civilians at the other end of our weapons don't have a choice, but American soldiers have choices. And while there may have been some doubt 5 years ago, today we know the truth. Our soldiers don't sacrifice for duty, honor, country. They sacrifice for Kellogg, Brown, and Root. They don't fight for America, they fight for their lives and their buddies beside them because we put them in a war zone. They're not defending our freedoms. They're laying the foundation for 14 permanent military bases to defend the freedoms of ExxonMobil and British Petroleum. They're not establishing democracy. They're establishing the basis for an economic occupation to continue after the military occupation has ended. Iraqi society today, thanks to American help, is defined by house raids, death squads, checkpoints, detentions, curfews, blood in the streets, and constant violence. We must dare to speak out in support of the Iraqi people who resist and endure the horrific existence we brought upon them through our bloodthirsty imperial crusade. We must dare to speak out in support of those American war resistors, the real military heroes who uphold their oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, including those terrorist cells in Washington, D.C., more commonly known as the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Frederick Douglass said, "Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are people who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the roar of its many waters." The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. Every one of us must keep demanding, keep fighting, keep thundering, keep plowing, keep speaking, keep struggling until justice is served. No justice, no peace.
The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
It's time for somebody to lead all of America's niggas. And by that I mean the young, the black, the brown, the women, the poor, all of America's niggas. And by that I mean if we can put the nigga vote together, we can bring about great change in this country. If we can put the nigga vote together, we can bring about great change in this country. Into the thick of the fight. Link. I appreciate your listening tonight. I ask for your forgiveness. I ask for your patience. I ask you to uphold the Constitution and the American Bill of Rights. There are difficult days ahead, and the way forward may sometimes appear chaotic. I will not relent. I will not yield the contest of will. No one can question the skill. The actions of our enemies over the last few weeks have been brutal, calculating, and instructive. One of his campaign people alleged that the president was like a puppet. I agree with him. I do. George Bush won, George Bush lost. I don't see how you can lead this country if you say war would make this world a more peaceful place. That's kind of a fucked up mentality. It makes no sense. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think it's right. It's ludicrous. The troops wonder, how can I follow this guy? I'm loath to put words in somebody else's mouth. It's time for somebody to lead all of America's niggas. And by that I mean the young, the black, the brown, the women, the poor. We can put the nigga vote together. All right, first, let me just say this as clearly as I can. Stop the killing in Darfur. Stop the killing in Darfur. These crimes are genocide. Stop the war this week. The return of the Jedi. This administration had its chance. They have not led. We will. This administration had its moment, and President George W. Bush squandered it. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time for somebody to lead all of America's niggas. Everybody went, oops. might move, might disagree. Strongly disagree with that. Yeah, if we can put the nigger vote together, we can bring about great change in this country. Racial prejudice is a reality in America. Pure and simple. For 200,000 black males were denied the right to vote in the 2000 election. The state of Florida. The matter was handled in the courts and thought by some to be settled. But the matter was not settled. We have a duty to defeat this enemy. The best way to protect is to stay on the offense. That is the best way. If we send mixed signals, if you send mixed messages, if you say, we have a duty, you better mean it. Get out the word. So chaos. In a few cities, war has just begun. This vile display shows a contempt for all the bounds of civilized behavior. It reveals a fanaticism that was not caused by any action of ours and would not be appeased by any concession. The wait has been long, but it won't be long now, and it won't be long now, and it won't be long now. We believe it is a tragedy of history that in the United States, which gave the world great gifts of law and science and faith, so many have been held back by lawless tyranny and fanaticism. We believe that when all Americans are finally allowed to live and think and work and worship as free men and women, they will reclaim the greatness of their own heritage. And when that day comes, the bitterness and burning hatreds that feed terrorism will fade and die away. America and all the world will be safer when hope has returned to Washington, D.C. If we can put the nigger vote together, we can bring about great change in this country. If we can put the nigger vote together, we can bring about great change in this country. I beg your pardon. The game is over. Rue the day. I took it personally. The man who sits in the Oval Office is a pro, an expert, and a crank. Don't stay out too late. And beyond the violence, Iraqis are proud people who resent foreign control of their affairs, just as we would. We can achieve the peace we all want. One heart, one mentor, one person, and one soul at a time. And let me say one other thing. May God bless our country.
Our country back. We are going to be our solution. Are you in? Are you going to make it happen? Are we going to take our country back?
So there's all this talk from the Tea Party about taking America back.
Right, and we can't help but ask, back from who?
You know, the implication is that some Americans aren't real Americans.
Right, and that's what the whole birther movement is all about.
You know, and we went back into the government archives and we found this extraordinary film.
Right, made after World War II that asks the same question.
Who is a real American?
My friends, I'm just an average American. But I'm an American. And some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. We'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without. Without what? Without Negroes. Without alien foreigners. Without Catholics. Without Freemasons.
Do you believe in that kind of talk? I don't know, makes pretty good sense to me.
Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
What are we real Americans going to do about it?
In this country, we have no other people. We are American people. Here in America is not a question whether we tolerate minorities. America is minorities. And that means you and me.
Are we going to take our country back?
Islamophobia, more Islamophobia in this country.
Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
I'm sorry, is Hawaii not part of the United States?
The military is not a social experiment.
Why are we wanting to do this? Well, to tickle the fancies of a very vocal but very small minority.
Don't retreat, reload, and that is not a call for violence.
So the targets may be different, but the bow and arrow is the same.
Right. I mean, you know, now instead of Jews, it's Muslims. Instead of communists, it's socialists.
Right. Instead of immigrants, it's Mexicans.
Well, yeah. The bottom line is that 500,000 Americans died in World War II protecting us from this kind of intolerance.
Right. And what they were defending was our right to be different.
Mm-hmm. So the next time anybody tells you that they want to take America back,
tell them to shut the fuck up.